Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Well with me, Nandita, Khemka.
And I'm Yatin, Mota.
Well, Yatin, second day of losses coming in on the Wall Street. In fact, we have ended below that crucial 19,000 mark ahead of the all-important Fed rate decision that will be, kind of announced tonight. And of course, we'll be reacting to that tomorrow morning. But, sea of red across the screen, given the fact that even the mid and small cap indices snapped out of their gaining streak. Yesterday also, they were outperforming the benchmarks. And today also, at least till the first half of the session, they were outperforming the benchmark indices, but towards the end of the session they have erased all of the gains. In fact, both the mid and small cap indices also ended the day in the red. If you look at the sectoral movers, PSU banks, realty as well as pharma, these were the top sectoral movers. On the flip side, you had metals and private banks. Those were the top two losers. Mind you, Tata Steel from the metals pack will be reporting its earnings post market, so of course metals pack will also be in focus tomorrow morning. If you look at the Nifty individual gainers, you had the likes of Sun Pharma after a good set of numbers. Yatin, that stock was on the gainers list, top Nifty gainer after being the top Nifty loser yesterday. You have BPCL extending gains, Hindalco, Bajaj Auto on the back of good October auto sales figures, and Tata Consumer, on the back of good earnings. On the flip side, you had SBI Life. This stock was gaining yesterday. Today, it's on the losing end. Coal India, Asian Paints, Tata Steel ahead of earnings, and Adani Ports. These were the top losers on the Nifty today. But Yatin, take us through what's happening in the mid and small cap space.
So I think, Nandita, as you were mentioning, some bit of pain in the markets. Today, let's start with the IPO markets, because Blue Jet, that stock listed at a 20% premium to the IPO price of 346, settled almost at the day's high at 413. So in a weak market, the stock was doing well. In the mid cap of the market, stocks like Idea Cellular, which is Vodafone Idea, and Indus Tower, both of these stocks were doing well. Idea was up 8%, new 52-week high, and Indus Tower also gaining momentum in terms of volumes. Birlasoft, on the back of good numbers, that stock saw a 5% jump. Natco Pharma, after the adverse observation on their Kothur plant, that stock was down 7%, and the kind of issues that the plant and the observation nature were taken quite seriously by the analyst community, post which the stock moved down. JSPL, Star Health and India Cements also reacting to numbers. In fact, India Cement, after the numbers, that stock was down 5%. Despite narrowing the losses, the stock went down. Obviously, the overall situation for India Cement has been quite weak, because they haven't been able to post a profit for quite some time, or probably for the last 3-4 quarters they haven't been able to show profits on the operational front. So probably the street did not like the earnings, and hence the stock was down under pressure.
All right, that was all about the mid and small cap end of the markets. But on that note, Yatin, let's take a look at the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Starting with Bajaj Auto, of course, good set of October sales data coming in. Total sales are up 19% on a YY basis. But if you look at the domestic sales, that's up 36% on a YY basis, highest ever. In October. And even if you look at the CV sales, that has also been highest ever for the company. In fact, management was on CNBC TV 18. They've said that they're pleasantly surprised by the fact that customers are flocking back to showrooms in large numbers. But one pain point for Bajaj Auto remains is the export sales, right? That was down somewhere around 7% on a YY basis. And of course, we've seen export pain for some of these auto two-wheelers, rather, given the fact that, at least for Bajaj Auto particularly, its largest export market, Nigeria, remains a spot of bother, given the fact that there has been a currency devaluation there, and that remains a short-term pain for the company, according to the management. In fact, the management also went ahead and said that it's very difficult to predict when the export markets will actually revive. Going forward, festive sales have been pretty healthy for the two-wheeler space. In fact, 15 to 18% kind of growth is what the two-wheeler industry has seen this festive season, according to the Bajaj Auto management. And if you look at the stock price, Yatin, it has gained somewhere around 50% on a YTD basis. Even though it has run up so much, price to earnings ratio is at somewhere around 22.2, which is lower than the industry, in fact, the sector PE, and stock has given a good return on equity of 20%. It has fared much better than its peers like Hero and Eicher on a YTD basis. And given the kind of upbeat commentary, except for the export market, looks like things are looking okay for Bajaj Auto going forward.
Yeah, I think, the export markets have been quite unpredictable for Bajaj Auto, given the geopolitical situation, and few of the countries where they export, there have been some foreign exchange issues, because of which the exports clearly have slowed for Bajaj Auto. But I think the domestic market, as you said, remains buoyant for the company. Obviously, that was for Bajaj Auto. The stock is at record highs, but another stock which is doing well in the marketplace is Birlasoft. Now, Nomura has a buy call on this one with a target of 630. And in the opening comments, I said that this was one of the top gainers in the F&O segment with 5% plus gains coming in. Now, if you look at the second quarter revenues and margins, they came in much better than the street expectations. Deal wins and visibility has improved according to the management. And you know, for IT companies, the better the deal wins, the better the future cash flow predictability, and hence probably the street like the results and the management guidance. In fact, the margin expansion continues under the new unified operational structure, and the new CEO strategy according to Nomura is working well for Birlasoft. If you look at FY26 EPS, Nomura has tweaked it by a upward revision of 3%. So yes, on the back of good brokerage upgrades and you know, performance, Birlasoft has seen some good traction in the share price today.
All right, Birlasoft there, you know, a buzz in trade. But the other stock on my list today is Escorts. You know, the tractor industry, you know, has been suffering given the fact that we saw delayed monsoon, and it's also been reflecting in the sales figures. Even in September, the sales figures were pretty bleak, and this month as well, be it for Escorts or for M&M. You know, the numbers have been fairly, M&M tractors rather, the numbers have been fairly disappointing. In fact, total sales for Escorts has dipped 9% on a YY basis, and domestic sales also down somewhere around 8.7%. Exports are down in double digits, 13%. But you know, management has said that the October sales are muted due to the delay in festive season this time around, and they believe that November could be a good month given the fact that most of the festivities are there in the first 2 weeks of the month. And the company has said that the demand momentum may continue in the second half of the current fiscal. However, experts, you know, Yatin, have turned cautious given the fact that, of course, we know that the delayed monsoons and El Nino threat could pose headwinds for the industry, and that is why they have turned cautious. Especially if you look at Escorts, it has already run up so much, 40% on a YTD basis, that there are concerns of stretched valuations as well there. And even if you look at the you know, price to earnings ratio, it's far higher than the sector PE. Correct. So looks like, you know, the road ahead is a little tough when it comes to the tractor makers, you know, as opposed to the other segments like four-wheelers and two-wheelers in the auto space.
Absolutely, and I think Nandita, M&M's tractor sales were also down year-on-year basis, and you know, the fact that Escorts, the stock has done so pretty much well that you know, some negative news and there is immediate profit taking in the counter, and that's what exactly happened. The October sales disappointed, and the stock went down as much as 3% intraday. So probably on the back of disappointing sales data, the stock is under pressure.
Right. Well, those were the stocks that were on our radar this afternoon. So I think, you know, we'll call it a day here on Closing Bell. But of course, we'll be getting you live coverage of the Fed statement. In fact, FOMC press conference after the rate decision. So tune in around 11:30 p.m. on Moneycontrol. You can see Jerome Powell's speech at 11:30 p.m. tonight. But of course, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin on that note. But you stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.